Hey, how's it going today? It's Frankie and I'm here with Wild Wednesdays. And finally, I've watched the movie that I've been meaning to see for a long time now. And that is called Ballerina from the world of John Wick. And I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this, and you've probably heard it from me first, or probably second or third. But for me, this is possibly the greatest movie I have ever seen. You heard that right. Of every other movie I've seen, this is the greatest one. And possibly the greatest action hitman movie I have seen. Now, it's just over 2 hours long. I'm just going to try and summarize it as brief as I can. I'm going to mention the important scenes and the important dialogue, because let me tell you one thing. Every part of this movie is phenomenal. Dialogue, brilliant. Storyline, brilliant. You know, I'm just gonna go through it. So it's about this woman called Eve, and she has to learn to, she has to, learn to be a hitwoman, right? Or an assassin, if you want to put it that way. After she sees her father get killed, and she wants to take vengeance for her father's death. That start scene with the dad scene as well is brilliant. You know, when the dad's fighting against all these, find out like a tribe or cult, you want to call them. And the Chancellor comes in. I'm not sure if he's in the John Wick movies, I can't remember. But he comes in and he says some good piece of dialogue. He says, it's not about the gun being dangerous, it's about how the man uses it. Something like that. Great piece of dialogue he said there. And that's when you see the dad trying to fight him, and then he eventually dies. And that's when you see even like this place where she has to train to be an assassin, basically, and she gets told to actually do a job where she has to protect someone called Katla. And the club scene, fighting at the club though, brilliant. The scenes, the action scenes are brutal. I can't fathom enough the craziness in this movie. And then you sort of see her, going to someone called Daniel Pine's, hotel room, and it's the hotel room that was from the John Wick movies, and that guy with the glasses, who he's still working there in this movie, Sharon or something like that, and then she comes up against Winston, and then she wants to know the names of some that killed their dad, and Winston sort of just puts a bounty on, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, he's terrific with his words. Brilliant words of wisdom right there. I then just seen some fight in this hotel room where these people want someone called Ava, right, who's Daniel's daughter. I think it's name Ava. Yes, I think it's Ava. I'm gonna say Ava, but I'll just look back on it anyway. Just double check later on. But yeah, Ava, and then she eventually has a fight with them in the room, and it continues as well. And it continues outside, but then she gets hit over the head by somebody. And then those people just eventually take her anyway. She is breaking the rules by doing this. She's not supposed to do it, but she is anyway, because she wants to have vengeance for her dad's death. And then a scene where she's at the shop, basically. And this is brilliant. I gotta say, this was unexpected. I thought she was gonna go to the shop to purchase something, but no. There was also a scene here where there was a group of people. Those people really want to find her and kill her, and then she shoots them. There's grenades being thrown, explosions literally everywhere. This is chaos. This is everything that an action movie should have. Perfect action movie right here. Especially the scene where she puts a grenade in some guy's mouth and she sizes guys up with a roller skate. I can't remember what scene that was at. I think it was probably in that scene actually. And shooting, she's a good shooter as well. You also have another scene where she goes deeper and actually she gets nearer to where she needs to be, and I think she's trying to follow basically where Ava's got to, and she goes at this restaurant, and I thought the restaurant person was in on it, because as soon as a van pulled up, that's when the woman says, "Would you like anything?" And then the fight happens here as well, and I think they want the woman and her daughter. I think that's the woman's daughter that was sitting down there, and that's why they run off, because they knew what was going to happen. And the fight scene here is also when she has a bit of an altercation with this dude. They lock eyes and they start like fighting, and she breaks his arm or wherever it was, kills him, and then there's plates being thrown. and it's just a fight with like I think was it the chef? She's a chef, yeah, and then she locks her in the freezer, but then she eventually frees out of it after she kills the other like whatever you call these people. I don't know if they're officers. They're definitely some people that are bad, and it's just a fight with like the chef here too. Chaos. This is chaotic, honestly. And then she goes outside, has more fights. And then that's when you see like Ava, and then you see like the Chancellor just come out, or is it Lena? Someone called Lena comes out as well. No, Lena comes out, and that's when you see like the Chancellor in the building there, and she's like, all like tied up or whatever you want to call it, right? And that's when you find out that Lena is actually Eve's sister. Wow, because he did say, the woman that had a father that was killed by them, something along those lines. I explained that poorly. I should have said, the same people that killed their dad basically, and it was his people more like. And she was saying, "What, our dad?" And that's when Lena wanted to try and help her, and then they run into this building, and that's when more fights come in, and that's when you see like, and eventually Lena does die, and because all grenades were there and the explosion sort of destroyed her. And then she picks up some swords and starts swiping them, slashing them. And see, this movie's unstoppable with the action scenes. Absolutely fantastic. Oh my goodness, the slicing of the, especially when she slices people with like, roller skateboard and starts shooting them, there's headshots. Like, this is unreal. I can't follow. I don't know how I'm explaining this movie so perfectly because it's just over 2 hours long. A lot has happened, but I don't know how to explain it. And then this is where you see John Wick here, and John Wick appears because he was ordered by where Eve was staying at by the director, to actually get her killed because she's actually causing more harm with them as what she's doing to herself. And John Wick has been ordered to kill her. He did appear early on in the movie where he talked something about his puppy. I think, because I remember his puppy got killed in the first John Wick movie, but the second, I think that's when he said that to somebody where they said it was just a puppy, and he looked at this girl. I can't remember this happened in the movie, in that John Wick movie. I think it didn't. I don't think it did, because this is about a character called Eve here, and it is called from the world of John Wick, so John Wick had to be in it, but it's not necessarily about him. So it's more focused on Eve. But yeah, and John Wick also says some good dialogue at the earlier start of the movie too. Earlier on, not necessarily at the start, but early on. And he was just like, so where's the way out? How do I get out? And he's like, door's unlocked, you can leave. I said, no, how do I leave this? What do I do? How do I do what you do? And he was like, you already are. You already started. And he also said, everyone has a choice. You have a choice. That was kind of good dialogue that they exchanged about that. But this is I like this fight scene. I didn't expect him to fight her, but I did expect him to be on her side. As soon as he was about to shoot her, she was like, he killed my father, I'm going to take vengeance. I don't do this. And John Wick said, you're going until midnight to do this. And you do see him later on helping her out. I'll get onto that in a minute. And then she starts having more fights with this dude. She has a flamethrower and flames them. They'll practically toast. I mean, literally flaming everybody up. And then somebody called Dex comes into it, who's like, I only know, I think it's his name because I saw on the my favourite site, IMDb, and it's the same face as it said the name on there, called Dex. We don't actually hear his name being called. I just assume that is Dex. And I assume he's obviously the toughest soldier, and he's obviously the tougher one in that role. I wouldn't call them soldiers. I don't know what you call them. I still have no idea what you would call them, but it doesn't matter anyway. And then he also, this is where she flames them all up, and she has some big fights with them, shooting them whew. And then this is where there's an altercation towards the end part of that, fight with Dex, where they both have flamethrowers. There was a cool little piece of scenery, by the way, where they were both holding on to each other. The flamers was from both sides coming out. Wonderful. I gotta say, that was one of the best parts in that movie. One of the most amazing, beautiful, stunning parts of the movie. And there's another stunning part where her flamer runs out just after she used a big gush of flame on a group of men. Were they all men? I don't know. A group of enemies. I just call them enemies. There's probably one or two women there. I don't know. it's hard to tell, but she flamed oil up, used that last bit of flame, she made it, she made the most of it. And then, as soon as she went inside the building, but this guy's still trying to flame her to death, if you want to call it that. And she gets like a hose of water, and this is another amazing part of the movie. Just sprays it until then it doesn't work properly. And this is where you see John Wick. This is the part where he helps her. As soon as he's about to like kill her, whatever he does, or whatever weapon he uses, more like, he gets a sniper, and he has a sniper, and he shoots at the flame there to ignite it, so it sets him on fire. I knew it was going to help her. I just knew it. Then this is where he has a bit of a fight after he says to the director over the phone, "Oh, it's done," and the director says, "Oh, really? Is she dead?" And he was like, more like, "He's dead." Brilliant line that is. That's he's so calm and cool with it. And yeah, he did kind of win the fight against Eve because of his experience, and he's been in it longer. So Eve wasn't any match for him in that bit of a tiny bit of an altercation there, but it was nice to see that he didn't actually like do any harm to like kill her or anything, because that would have just not made any sense to the story. So I knew he was going to help her. He knows how to do that thing. And then this way he has a fight with the with these same enemies here. And then there was one scene where the woman says, "Oh," and the guy says to his partner, "Oh, he's John Wick," and she was like, "Oh, he's just one man. What's he gonna do?" And he shoots both of them. Classic and quality. Excuse me, just burped out there. Sorry about that. If you could tell. But yeah, I don't know where he went to after that. To be honest, they should have thanked each other. But that's the scene. That's when you see Eve go towards the car, and where the chancellor is in, and he sort of says, "Oh, you can't stop the system. Kids always be brought back here, blah blah blah. You can't help that." And then she just shot him anyway. I would have done the same thing. And then she saves Ava's life right there. Like, just save her from like hell, if you want to call it that. And then I thought Daniel Pine got killed. He was actually in a hospital and he's okay. And that's when the life got saved. Wow, that's when it was kind of a nice moment there. Her life did get saved because I think she would not have enjoyed that. She would have hated every minute of it. So it was nice to see that that Eve had her priorities right. The thing is, I'm pretty sure she was meant to kill Daniel, but I think she only kept him alive just because like she didn't want Ava to experience what she experienced with her dad. So that kind of made sense. It's so typical for her to go on that mission for someone for the director. I think the director set something here for her to actually, how do you explain it? So my phone's ringing there. Yeah, it was kind of interesting how she had to go on a mission that involves, someone having a child. So I found that very interesting. And yeah, and then you see at the hotel, and then Winston sort of goes, good old Winston. He sort of says, "Oh, you're checking in," or whatever he said, and she was like, "Yeah." Classic line, that is absolute classic line. Just a brilliant movie throughout. Absolutely sensational. I did my best to explain. Oh yeah, I had one or two bumps. That's gonna happen when you make videos like this. I gotta say, what an exceptional movie. Actually, it's the greatest movie I've ever seen. Period. And I should have said this earlier in the video. Watch this movie first. This is a heck of a must-watch movie, right? It is a must-watch. I couldn't find enough how much action there was in this movie. This is a real action movie. It's up there with John Wick movies because on this it's related to John Wick anyway. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Well, I just can't. I'm speechless. I'm just thinking about the scenes right now. This is incredible. And you know what the rating's going to be for this? It's fairly obvious. It is a 100% 10 out of 10. If I see people, now I know people have opinions, right? But you can't look at this movie and go, "Oh, there's too much action. It deserves an 8." 8 would be harsh. 9 you could probably say, yeah, fair enough. But You can't look at this movie and go, oh, there's a few faults that need to be fixed, oh, I didn't like it, was alright. This movie is the best movie I've ever seen action wise. It had everything, right? Fantastic acting actors, right? Fantastic dialogue, fantastic scenes of action, fantastic cinematography, fantastic scenery, fantastic everything. It blew me away watching this. Just over 2 hours long, perfect. This is how action movies should be. I don't think there's any movie that's better than this. I can't see it. And movies that I did give a 10, this is on a different level. Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. I'm glad I watched it finally. Thank God for Amazon Prime. Apart from like the only issue with Prime is they do 3-minute ads. But I had to enjoy it because it was worth it to wait through those ads. So what can I say? There's no improvements. This is perfect. Exactly my kind of action movie. So you know what? I'm clapping this. I would do a standing ovation, but my microphone is right there, and yeah, I don't want to be standing up because it'd be a bit weird to do it. I'm clapping. Like a sitting ovation because I can't do a standing ovation. Brilliant. Brilliant. You know, more action movies like this, please. And I don't care, but I'm the sort of person that doesn't. I don't care if this hasn't won an Oscar or not. Right? I never think about that because I know these movies are good. The movies I give an 8 or above, they're brilliant and they're good, right? People have opinions, yeah, to some of the movies I've given. But you can't tell me movies like this is not that good as it looks, because it was fantastic. I don't care if it's won an Oscar or not. It is a good movie regardless. It's the best movie ever. It don't need to win. It doesn't have to win the award for it to be the best movie ever. It just is. Black and white, just plain and simple. Like, everything. Graphics, but I mentioned graphics as related to gaming. I'm going to say graphics anyway. Yeah, please watch it because I can't stop praising this movie enough. I really can't. So yeah, that's it for this video. 10 out of 10 it is. If you enjoyed the video, please give a like, comment, share the video, subscribe, hit the notification below. I'll see you in my next video.